All right, guys, welcome to PSS 22 here with Mike. We are so excited. He has been bringing some amazing stuff. I have learned a ton. There's so many opportunities out there. And I like the way that private label, at least for me, it feels simpler, like if anybody could do it. And you really teach it in a way that is so accessible to people. And the cool thing is, too, since you already have the tools and you're sharing those so freely with us just to know what is working currently, that has been so amazing. So thank you so much for coming on.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, take it away.
All right, let's share my screen. All right, can you see my slide, Sherry?
Right this second, it just says that there. I can see him now. Yes.
Cool. Awesome. So I hope everybody had an amazing 4th of July, and you're all seeing a nice little boost to your sales on Prime Day. I'm excited about this session. This is our second to last session together. And so what I really have been trying to do is really kind of bring you through the full life cycle of sourcing a product. What are some of the considerations? And kind of now we're at the point where things are going to start to come together. So if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we found our neon sunglasses at a dollar store. And essentially what I've gone ahead and done is, just like if this was a product that I was going to source and sell, I've kind of gone through the process in these last couple of weeks and sort of published the listing. And today we're going to take a look at what the listing looks like. I had the photos enhanced so you can kind of see really what I think is cost-effective way to really make your images pop. And we've talked about how images are one of the most important considerations for a customer when they're buying to get them to convert. So when they're on your page, you have their attention for a very short amount of time. And one of the things that people look for, because it's easy, are what do the pictures look like? So if you're going to spend any money on your listing, I always encourage people to spend it on the photos. And one of the things I wanted to share is just some really cool, I think, cost-effective ways to get your images to pop. So we're going to take a look at the listing, and then we're going to talk about launching a product. And this is a really, really important consideration for being successful in private label or bundling or whatever you're doing. So we're going to I'm going to walk you through that process. I'm going to show you one program that I use in particular. My disclaimer here is I'm not affiliated with any of the products that I'm showing you. These are just what I use and what they work for me, and I've tested a lot of different things. And so some of the value that I wanted to bring to you was, my tried and true and mistakes. I've sort of gone through it and learned the hard way, so you don't have to. But I mean, there may be other things, and I encourage you to kind of see what else is out there and what works for you. But I found these to be really effective and really cost effective as well. And for those of us that are on a budget, and you don't have a ton of money to spend, I think that this will definitely kind of help get you to where you want to be in the most cost effective way. So, product launch, right? So before we go into that, I'm going to pull up our listing here. All right, here we go. So here is the listing that I created. If you remember last session, we kind of went through the Word document. We kind of talked through the different parts of the title and why, we wanted the different keywords, and we wanted it to have the right blend of keywords, but then also really sort of have some of that, marketing and sales language that are going to help people to click on our listing. And when they click on our listing, here's what they're going to see. And we will kind of compare and contrast it to the other listing that you saw. But really, I don't want the title to come across spammy. But I really want folks to really understand what's going to be in the content of this listing. And so again, we won't go through all of this because we did it last time. But just think about if you're a consumer and you're on this listing. Think about when you buy on Amazon. I know I don't read every single every single bullet point. I'm kind of looking for, in particular things in the product that I want. And again, that's why like bolding these sort of headers for your bullet points is important, because people will be like, I don't really care about the colors. Ooh, scratch resistant lenses. That's interesting. What does this mean? So now if they want to learn more about that, they know that this is where they can go. Protect your eyes from UV rays. Maybe people care about it. Maybe they don't. Ooh, lifetime replacement. That's different. Not a lot of people do that. What are they offering here? And again, as I said in the our last episode together, I think I might have had one person come to me and sort of cash in on that lifetime replacement. But as a consumer, it really gives you a lot of confidence that the manufacturer is standing behind their product, right? So let's take a look at the images, and I'll be interested to kind of get your feedback. So what my wife and I did was we just bought this. It's just like a photo booth. It's from like Amazon Basics. I think it was $150. Again, I could put the link, the one that we bought. We just bought it through Amazon, but there are other ones that may be more cost effective. So we just took some really simple basic photos, and then we sent them on to our graphic designer, and I have his website at the end of the slide, so you guys have that as a reference. These cost $85 to do, to have him sort of optimize and enhance the pictures. And while, $85 is an investment, I think when you go through and you see what he's able to do, I'm always blown away at what he's able to accomplish. So, your main image just has to be the white background. So this is, pretty plain, pretty simple. Quite honestly, I would probably jazz this up a little bit more, before really kind of going launch with it, but I just wanted to get something up here. But just like take a look at how cool that he did this, right? So we didn't send him, we sent him the listing so he knows that they're scratch resistant. So he did this, right? Like he took the higher, we just sent him the image of the pink framed glasses, and he was able to sort of put the banner and split it. And somehow, I don't know where he got this from, but other non-scratch resistant sunglasses are scratch resistant sunglasses. Like, I just think that's so cool. And for $85, well worth it in my opinion. One of the things that we always like to try to do as well is put our product dimensions. I do that for most of my products just because, depending on what they are, you don't want people to, have an unrealistic expectation or be disappointed if they get it. So I always just try to spell these things out, particularly like something like sunglasses, where if I'm putting them on, I want to know, like, are they big enough? Are they meant for kids? Are they meant for adults? So I think this really gives you a good frame of reference. I think I like this, just sort of saying, here are the different colors that they're broken out into. And then I think this is really where you get your money's worth. One of the things that we talked about last time was, lifestyle images are so important because consumers want to see their product in use and they want to imagine them using it. What's it going to be like if I use these sunglasses? So what I'll tell you is these are Photoshopped, and, because they're Photoshopped, you have to make sure, sometimes they can look maybe a little cheesy, like the spatial might be, they might look a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than they're supposed to. So typically when I give my designer feedback, that's what it is. It's like, these are not going to be that big on a person's face. And so we want to make sure that, we're setting that right expectation. But here you go. It looks like we hired a model to take pictures with our product, and chill in the pool, protect your eyes while taking a dip. Beach trips, have fun under the sun. So if you look at the other neon sunglass listings, I'm willing to bet that nobody has anything like this. And so right away, you just totally pop and you totally stand out. We're offering a lifetime replacement. We have really good images and photos. Our listing is good. We've really positioned ourselves to be a major player in the market, because again, if I'm a consumer and I'm comparing the listings, this really tells me that the person cares about their product, and I'm just going to have a lot more confidence. I might even spend more money on a product like this because of the different little features. They offer a lifetime replacement. To me, I'm willing to spend a little bit more. I'm not going to spend $10 more, but if these were $1 or $2 more, yeah, absolutely, I would. That wouldn't deter me, because I can tell that this is a really somebody who cares about the product that they're selling. So this is the first ingredient. This sort of takes what we did last week, kind of pulls it together, because before we do a launch or advertising or anything like that, the foundation is you have to have a good listing that's going to convert. So with that, I think we've created that here. So now the next step becomes, how do we really optimize our opportunity to get this listing in front of potential Amazon buyers? So let's jump back to our PowerPoint here for a second. So that's where the product launch comes into place. We put our listing together, we send our units to Amazon, and now it's time to get our product in front of folks. So if you remember in the very first session, we talked about sort of the secret sauce, and that really is like, how hard is it to get on page one? There are a couple of different ways you can do that. The fastest way to do that is doing product promotions. I put product give promotions. Product promotions. We'll edit on the fly here. So sometimes you'll hear them referred to as giveaways. They're not really giveaways because you're not giving it away for free. Typically when you're doing these, you want to sell them for about 99 cents. And the reason that you do that is Amazon has an algorithm, right? So they're trying to figure out how do we get high converting meaning people go to the page and they buy. How do we sort of optimize if, in this example, if somebody types in neon sunglasses, why should we, how do we rank the likelihood essentially that people are going to buy? And so really the fastest way to jumpstart that is to do a product launch. And what you're doing is you're sort of giving a jolt to the Amazon algorithm where you're going to get all these sales on the product and they're going to say, wow, look at all these. They don't distinguish that they're a giveaway, at least not right now. And so all they're seeing is, these neon sunglasses are selling 10 times a day. We need to continue to move these up because they're doing really well. And that's where sort of your comparison to your competition comes in. We talked about if the first 2 pages of searches for neon sunglasses, people are selling 50 a day, that's an uphill battle because we're going to have to give away 50 a day to sort of, in Amazon's eyes, be on par with them. My experience has been really 5 to 10 units a day over 7 days typically does the trick. Because again, going back to sort of our research, we're not going to be jumping into super competitive spaces like barbecue gloves or the fidget spinners, which, that's a different story. But while they were still allowed to be sold on Amazon, it was like a mad rush. And to get on page 1 for fidget spinners, you probably would have to give away 100 units a day. Supplements is another really competitive market. And so people literally give away 50 to 100 units a day to get on page 1 for, say, vitamin C supplements. If you have a big budget, you can make a lot of money. But, for me, I'm really kind of looking for those smaller niches. And I think these neon sunglasses are actually a perfect example. So there are a couple really important things that, we need to kind of keep in mind when we're doing our product launch. First, we want to make sure that we're using a reputable site that's following Amazon's terms of service. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was you, Leonard, or if it was somebody else who had posted in there how somebody got suspended for doing product giveaways. Giveaways are not, or discounted products are not against Amazon's terms of service. What they don't allow you to do is give your product away in exchange for a review. Probably, I think it was, up until October of last year, there was this mad rush where you could use the service, even like the one I'm going to show you. And what would happen is people would leave reviews. So people were getting literally hundreds of reviews a week by giving away these discounted products. And it was really sort of skewing the marketplace because they weren't real, they weren't organic. And so people would go on a product and they say, wow, this has 500 reviews. Maybe 450 of them were in exchange for a discounted product. And so Amazon really kind of recognized, well, that's not really in our customers' best interest. This really isn't social proof. And so I'm going to show you a couple of sites that we use. We use Viral Launch. We use JumpSend, which is a little bit more cost effective in my opinion. Whatever one you do decide to use, just make sure that they're following Amazon's terms of service. We still do get some reviews when we do giveaways, but the site doesn't require the purchasers to do it, so it's not in violation of terms of service. And, if we give away 50 products, like we might get 5 reviews versus when we gave away 50 products, prior to October of 2016, we might get 35 or 40 reviews. So I just want to put that in there as a disclaimer, and somebody had mentioned it in the group, so I thought it was worth mentioning. So how do we set up a coupon code, right? So we're gonna do our launch. The question is, how do we sort of set it up so we can do discounted products? So I'm gonna walk you through that right now. One of the really important things is to make sure you protect your inventory. And this is a little bit in the weeds, and I know a lot of people aren't here yet, but it'll be good for you to have this as reference. If you ever do, set one up, you can come back to this section of the video and follow along so you know how to set them up correctly. So let's see. Okay. So in order to set up your coupon codes, this is the first thing that we're going to do. To get to this screen, you just go to advertising, you go to promotions, and it brings you up here. Okay. So what we would do is we would click create a new product selection. And what that does, well, actually we can do that. So click create a new product selection. Okay. And the way I usually do it is I just do it by ASIN, right? Product selection. Okay. And so like for this one, I just did PSS demo. Like that's how, these don't matter. This is just for your internal reference. And then all you have to do is just paste your ASIN in here. You hit submit and it's created. Okay. So now you're able to do it as part of a promotion. So when you come into, you come into advertising, you come into promotions. I'm not going to click this drop down because all of my products are here, but this is where the PSS demo was created. Okay, so here we go. So buyer purchases. So for this, we're not doing dollar amount, we're doing quantity. So if somebody buys one of, right, our sunglasses, they're going to get a percentage off. So as we talked about, my goal is to always have them go for about 99 cents. Amazon made this a little tricky because before you could set the dollar amount, now they let you do the percentage amount. So it's a little bit tricky to get it right at 99 cents. But let's see, at $16.99, if I discounted I'm gonna have to discount these I'm doing some math here on my calculator, bear with me. All right, so I'm just gonna do 92%, because at 92%, these are gonna cost $1.36, right? So that's good enough. 99 cents, $1.50, like you're fine. It doesn't make a huge difference. Obviously, you can play with this to get the math right. Okay, so we'll do it at 99. We'll do it 92% off. It applies to purchased items. We don't touch any of this. Amazon has a 4-hour delay in scheduling, so it's 9:20 right now. So really, they're saying like the earliest this could go live is 11 p.m. Pacific time. So which is fine. Essentially, I typically will set these up the day before, and the day before I'm going to do the launch. So when I sign in the morning, I can do it. The length is totally up to you. I'm paranoid, so I just don't like to have them last too long in the event that somehow something gets out. So if we're going to do a week, I might do to the end of this just to give me a little bit of a buffer. 10 days. Again, this is all just internal. Okay, so all this is pretty straightforward. This is where, make sure you have your sip of coffee, your Red Bull, whatever you need to do to stay awake, because this is where people, I know people who literally have lost tens of thousands of dollars of inventory because they didn't do this right, and their code is posted and it gets on fat deals, and you want to talk about online arbitrage, that puppy gets out there and their units are gone overnight. So I always do single use claim code, right? I do 1 redemption per customer, right? And the most important thing is make sure that this box is not checked, because if this box is checked, under your promotions, it's going to say, oh, you can get this for $1.36 by entering this coupon code, and everybody can see it. And that's when it gets ugly. By doing it the way we're going to do it, everybody just gets one code. It's specific to them. They can only use it once, and then it's dead, right? So that's how you, again, make sure this is not checked, and they're going to give you a chance to review it on the next page. Oh, buyer benefits applies to quantity one. Okay, sorry. Okay. So you'll see this alert. It's like, are you sure you want to do this more than 70%? The answer is yes. We would click submit. Boom. Okay. So now the promotion is in queue to start. So then what do we do? So then what we have to do is we want to say, okay, well, I would like to, now what we have to do is generate the coupon codes, right? So we've set that up right. Let's see. I'm going to stop the screen share for just 1 second, Sherry, because I have to check one thing. Bear with me, guys. All right. Sorry about that. Top secret information here. So you come into manager promotions, and then you'll have a couple of different, it's either they're active, they're going on, pending, which this one is because it's in the future, expired if you want to go look at the old ones, or all. So we're in pending. All right, so here's our promotion that we just set up. And what do we want to do? We want to generate our coupon codes, right? And so in order to do that, we want to go manage claim codes, right? We're going to do PSS demo launch. And here we're going to say how many codes do we want, right? So for jump launch, you kind of have to, I do it every single day. So let's just say I want to give away, 7 units, right? So I just go create, I want 7. You'll see it down here. Refresh it. It downloads super fast. Just refresh the page. You download it. Here are our coupon codes right here. And they are in a text file. You don't have to do anything with them. Other than upload them into our program. So I'm just gonna move them to my desktop so we have them. Okay, so now we've created 7 coupon codes that we're ready to use to launch. And what that means is, 7 lucky buyers for $1.36 are gonna be able to, buy a product. I can tell you that as soon as these things post, like, they're gone. Like, they absolutely fly. So you never have to worry about, well, are people really going to claim them? The groups that I'm showing you, I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of people literally who are looking for deals. So they go super fast. So let's take a quick look now at JumpSend. So JumpSend, again, I have the URL and a couple other things at the last slide that I'll send to Sherry so she can post in the file section so you guys have it. This is the same, this is Greg Mercer. So he is the founder of Jungle Scout. So very good, very reputable. So for these guys, they have different, in terms of the cost, I think I pay $65 a month, and it lets you use as many coupon codes as you want for up to 10 products, and you can kind of move them in and out. For me, this is the most cost-effective. I love Viral Launch. They do some really cool and innovative things, but they're expensive. So I only use them if I'm using like a higher price product or it's like super competitive, because I think it's like $300 per item, for 1 month just to do a launch, versus this one is $65 and you get up to 10 products. So, and honestly, my results haven't differed too much, not to the point where it justifies the cost for Viral Launch. So I will use Viral Launch like very specifically if, I'm going into a competitive niche or, it has to be a very strategic reason. Otherwise, this works great and it's more cost effective. So come in here, I'm logged in and so here we go, my promotions. And the thing is, they just make it super, super, super easy. And we talked about protecting your inventory. The other thing that I always do when I do the other thing when I do a giveaway is I also want to make sure that people can't use that. And let's say they put 10 pairs of sunglasses in the cart. I just want to make sure that they don't get all 10 of those for the discounted price. So what I do is, and this is only when I'm doing a launch. You come in, this is the edit page for this. Just come into offer, max quantity, 1, and I save it. And what happens when you do that, nobody can buy more than 1. Now, so that's just another fail safe that I use. Again, you're talking to somebody who's like super risk averse and like super paranoid. So, and JumpSend actually has something in here that does it on their end as well. I just do both because I just want to make sure I'm protecting the inventory. And so then let's just go through the steps here pretty quickly. And the great thing is I love the layout of this. I think it's just super intuitive, super user-friendly. And so let's just do it. So we'll go here and we'll go, okay, take our ASIN. Oh, I wonder if I might have a problem because it's not in stock. Yeah, I think I might have a little bit of an issue because it's not in stock, but that doesn't matter. We can still kind of walk through this, I think. Maybe not. Oh, that's too bad.
Maybe just tell us what would have autofilled and then what you
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, you put this in, essentially the title autofills, the description autofills. You put, the list price. So for these, it's $16.99. And then you just put, what is the price after the discount? So for these, it's $1.36. The shipping method, it's FBA. So that, that all is automatic. Protect inventory. So kind of what we just did here, they give you the opportunity to do. So they interface into your account through MWS and API, and they're able to, if you set it to 1 here, that also protects it. And then for the create coupon codes, it's just, this is just where you, of course, it wants to restart now. This is where you just upload that text file of the 7, the 7 codes that we did. Shopper approval. You can either say, I want to approve every single one, or you can put it on automatic. So, what happens is this gets posted to their site. Somebody will see it. They'll request a code. You can either put it on automatic, or you can say, I want to approve everybody who requests it. Me, I just put it on automatic. It gives you a chance to review all of this. You hit save. This posts instantly. So, one of the things you want to do here is, because there's that delay, just make sure that, it's actually live before you post it, because otherwise, people aren't going to be able to get the deal, and you're going to get people saying, well, we're putting in the codes and they're not working. So, just make sure that your promotion is live, because it's when you set it up, you got to wait at least 4 hours. It gets published, and I'm telling you guys, like, in an hour, like, these will all go. And then I'll do it again tomorrow. And I'll do that for 7 days. And in doing that, what Amazon is going to see, the cool thing is, what Amazon sees is, when they're looking at our title and they're seeing all these sales, and so really all of these keywords in here, neon sunglasses, colored sunglasses, even beach party, birthday party, favorite, like all of these words are getting juice through every single sale that we get, and that's how you rank. And then once you're able to get on page 1, that's when the sales really start to come in. So I really like JumpSend. I think they're very cost effective. In terms of timing, I'd like to do it weekday around 12 p.m. Eastern. I've done them on the weekend before, and there's so many buyers, they do work, but I've just found it to be most effective to do it right around lunchtime during the week. And that's been the best result for me. And just a couple of resources that I wanted to share with you. Again, no affiliation with any of these guys. These are just who I use. So here's the website for JumpSend. Here's Viral Launch. You have to buy UPCs, and they're not expensive. I use barcodestalk.com. I never have had an issue with them. I think they're great. And then this is the designer that I use. He's actually based in the UK. He's the one who did the photos for me. Charges $85 for the photo. He also, they do listing optimization. So they will actually write your listing for you if you want. Personally, I think, you can figure that out. But, if you're into, some people are just like, I want to outsource everything. And so, for me, it's what they're willing to spend a couple $100. I don't know what the cost is. I want to say it's $200 to have them write a listing. So they're kind of one-stop shop, but I mean, I really, really like what they do with the photos. And I think it really makes a big difference, in your listing. So that's sort of how we go through and we do our launch. I think that these tools are great, and I think Amazon just gives us such a great opportunity to be able to get on page one using these things. And so I just really wanted to show you the live listing. I wanted to show you how to create the coupon codes, and I wanted to show you some of the launch, some of the launch platforms that we use to do that. We have one session left. And so, we're going to do a little bit of wholesale next week. And I think one of the things I'm going to post this in the group is, I know people, and I really appreciate, people have been like, wow, this is really great. It's exciting. I want to know, is anybody interested in taking action on this? And if you're not, that's okay. But what's holding you back? Because I want to use our final session together next week we're going to spend a little time talking about wholesale and what that's all about. And then I really just kind of want it to be a Q&A, and I really want to see if we can figure out like what would hold you back from doing this. Is it money? Is it I can't find the right products? Is it's just too intimidating? I really want to spend some time and kind of go through that to kind of end our session together. So that's what I had for tonight, Sherry. Any questions on your end? I know that trying to keep it super concise. If there's anything you want me to kind of go back over, I'm happy to do it. And then next week, what maybe I can do is I'll spend a few minutes. I'll just send a pair of glasses in, and we can actually just go through the Jump Send list, the Jump Send launch together. But it really is, very intuitive and sort of easy to do.
So I do have a couple questions with that barcode. So are those GS1 barcodes, the barcode stock?
They're recycled GS1s, and I'm going to kind of talk out of turn here because I don't totally understand how it all works. But, essentially there are X amounts of thousands of these barcodes, and they recycle them. And so these are not like the GS1, like super approved, because those are, as you probably know, very expensive. But these are like recycled ones that it's probably going to take 15 years for them to kind of come back around. This is my understanding in talking to people. So they are GS1. And the likelihood of you ever having an issue with them is like super minute. Where you would run into problems is if you like took this and you put it on like a Disney product. But for what we're doing, this is, I don't know, Sherry, if you know Andy Slamans, but this is, sort of who he uses. And, I've been using them for a couple of years and I've never had an issue.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to check. And then, so when you do your reviews that you're thinking you might get around, or not your reviews, when you do a giveaway or a reduced rate, product, what did you call it? Promotion. Promotion.
Yeah.
And you get around 5 reviews. Let's say when you went through, you figured you really needed more like 10 or 20 reviews to be competitive. How do you just keep selling until you get those reviews, or what do you do?
Yeah, so we have an email follow-up sequence that we do. And actually, I should probably, what I'll do for next time is I'll put one together. Again, you have to be like super careful about asking customers for reviews, but we have an automated email that goes to our customers. And it's really the way we do it. They get 2 emails. When it's shipped to them, it just simply says, hey, thanks for buying the product, like nothing. The second one, what we do is we try to like give them some tips, right? So like for the sunglasses, I might say, we found that, washing these with some detergent and hot water is the best way to get them clean, and then use a microfiber cloth. Like just something that gives them a little bit of value. And then right after that, we'll say, we're a small business. Reviews are like so important to us. We don't have a huge marketing budget. If you wouldn't mind, leaving a review, we put the link and just, why did you buy it? Did you like it? And honestly, we've seen some really, really good conversions doing that email follow-up sequence. And the other thing that I would say is like, once you get, believe it or not, like once you get to like 10 reviews, if you have a good listing like that, there are people in our space that have hundreds of reviews. And we might have like 25, and we have a better rank than them, and we're more expensive just because our product is better. The reviews that we have are really, really strong. So yeah, the review game is you just do the email follow-up sequence, and they will come. It's just a lot slower than it used to be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Who do you recommend or who do you use for your review or your follow-up?
Yeah, so I use Feedback Genius. They use them for a long time. Part of your subscription with JumpSend is that they actually do have a follow-up sequence. I have no idea how good it is. I'm imagining it's pretty good, but I use Feedback Genius. I think it's like $20 or $30 a month for given the number of units that we sell. And really good dashboards and metrics, so you can kind of see who's opening, who's clicking. So that's who we use for that.
Okay, cool. But there is a possibility to use JumpSend.
Yeah. So if you're already paying for that subscription, they do have a tool that that allows you to send your automated emails. I've just never played with it before.
Very good. And then one more question I had is. Are you willing to share with us your freight forwarder?
Yeah, absolutely. So I use somebody called Simply Ship. It's instead of the Y at the end of Simply though, it's an I. And what's super cool about them is they actually create like a little bit of a bidding marketplace. So what they do is they'll post it, and then companies like Flexport, who's a big one that people use, and some of the other like forwarders will like bid on it. And what that does, it creates a market. And honestly, the prices that I've gotten from them are far and away better than anything that I've seen. And they also, the thing that I love about them is they have people who just like, they take care of everything. They're super approachable. You and even before you post it, you can talk to them and say, okay, here's what I need to bring in. And I'll add that to this list of resources as well. But one of the things that I think people get hung up on, particularly in private label, is the importing. And they just handle it from A to Z, and it's so cost effective. Honestly, I keep them kind of hush hush because I know if it like gets out there, it's going to be like the marketplace is going to go crazy. And I've seen their CEO post quite a bit in The Amazing Seller. I don't know if Scott Volker does a podcast. He's a big private label seller. So I know their CEO is like super active in that group. But yeah, I'll put that in here so you guys have that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do you have tips for people when they're looking, like when you talked last time, you talked about that you found them at a discount store, but like if you were looking for something that was already here, so not importing it, if you were looking at another place, do you have some suggestions on the best places to look for that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of the products that we got, it's like a home and kitchen item. And I was just walking through the aisles of Target, and I just saw this like super generic looking, Target brand item. And I just kind of picked it up. I looked at the manufacturer and I contacted them, and they, I didn't have the volume to meet what they did, but they referred me to somebody else. So, again, I think the logistic part of private label scares people, and I totally get it. I think if you use a company like Simply Ship, you can get around that. But the other thing that I would say is like be creative. Like think about like there are absolutely opportunities domestically. And even with wholesalers, like some wholesalers will just say, yeah, we don't care what you do with our product. If you want to put it in your own label, like we really don't care. So I would just say to the group, like, if you guys are a little scared about doing the China thing, think about generic items that you're just seeing at Walmart or Target or anywhere like that, where you can get supply or if you have wholesale relationships and they have like super generic products, like that's a great opportunity to potentially private label it.
That's great. That is all great tips. I really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I know like the sexy thing is like, oh, I'm going to import from China, and like I totally get it, but I'm telling you, like there's a ton of opportunity that nobody's really tapping into by just like working with wholesalers and private labeling, and or working with domestic suppliers and private labeling. So if the China thing scares you, think outside the box a little bit and see if there are some opportunities, to do stuff like that.
Yeah, one of my things about sourcing American, I mean, even if they got it from China, there's one other step. So it's just a little bit less liability on my end.
hmm Yeah,
So
and
I do that.
yeah, no, so we get a lot. We have a mix of like our products, but I just got, I got insurance, and when they saw like our mix of like domestic versus getting from China, like they were like, oh, that's awesome. Like they love to see that we were getting some of it domestically because you're right, the liability just shoots way down.
Yeah, yeah, that was our experience as well.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
Cool. Well, I love all this information and just what you've done. And one of the things here, actually seeing the photos was so powerful because the photos tell the story for you.
They do.
And like that where it shows the different colors and that you get three of each, and like people are very visual, so I thought it was really awesome. And yeah, your lifestyle photos were awesome too, so I really appreciate you doing this because this is, I get it, like it's really you put it together so concisely that I just think anybody could start this.
Well, and I know like bundles too. Like you could totally do this with bundles. Like again, like I know the private. At least for me, like when I heard private label, like it was like I need to import from China. Private label is like it can be kind of like bundles too. So like imagine if you got some really good items that you wanted to bundle, and you did this with like bundled items. Like I'm giving myself a good idea here. Like I'm like yeah, like that could be really powerful. So I think there's a lot of things to do, and like honestly, I've worked with a couple of different designers. This gentleman is amazing, and for $85, I mean, there are people who spend $500. Like, if you were to like hire a model and like have them like do these shots, and I mean, can you tell they're photoshopped? Yeah, kind of, but like at a quick glance, you're fine. You're totally fine. So, like that's a really cool hack, and like I hope you guys like see the potential there, because you put photos like this on your listing. And just really quick, I just want to just do this really fast. So like you compare our pictures to, I don't want to click on his, there's that beautiful Amazon choice, love that. But like you compare, like, I mean, I think our photos blow this person's away. I like his cover image, and like I said to you, I probably would play with that a little bit. But I mean, this 959 in toys, right? So, and he's only got these images here, which are like super super plain. So, comparing our listing to theirs, like I like how we stack up.
Yeah, no, I get you. And I do like yours a lot. I think that it just, by showing us, though, you gave us an even better idea of really what creates a strong listing, because your listing is a lot stronger. So are you saying on your original image, you might take that the four of them and make it into three altogether so that it looks like 12 glasses in your original image or your first?
Yeah, let me actually, if I'm going to stop the share for 1 second, I'm going to log into my email, and I'll just show you exactly the photos that I sent and what he did with them, because I just think
Cool.
it's pretty cool. And now, I mean, I think Amazon even has, like, they've incorporated something into their app where, and I haven't played with this at all, but I mean, I think you can take some pretty good photos just with your app, and then you send it to him, and you just kind of let him do the work, which I am all about that. Let me see, where is it here? I'm just gonna take 1 minute. If I can find it, great. If not,
Yeah, I mean, just sharing with us that you're a graphic designer, that's invaluable. I'm telling you, because I have hunted. You know what I mean? It's like when we are one of our first private labels, I did all the Photoshop work. It took me forever. We did find a model. It was a pregnancy product, so we did find a really cute pregnant girl, and we are talking weeks of
Yeah,
time for me to create the look.
exactly.
Weeks and weeks.
Exactly. And the other thing I noticed from a data perspective is our conversion rate on our listings where we did the images went from like 3% up to about 9%. And that's huge. I mean, that's huge. That's a big jump. So it absolutely makes a difference. And Larry asks, is it 85 per photo? No, it's 85 for 7 photos. So, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, here's the, I'll just show you guys from my wife here. But yeah, these are just the photos that we did. And, we just sent these 3 simple photos to him. He did the rest. He did the rest. So, yeah, I mean, pretty simple stuff, and again, we just have like the white background. So, we just put them in there. She took the picture, we send them on to him, and he does the resizing and everything like that. So, honestly, like it's such a huge resource. And part of me again is like, I would really appreciate it if folks kept it inside the group, because if people knew this, like it's fine. Like I don't want to have the scarcity mindset, but for $85 is like an absolute steal. He's a really good guy. He works hard. He's got a team of designers, so they're super legit. And it's a huge advantage for us sellers who are able to use it. So you're allowed to share with your family and friends, but try to keep it in house as much as possible. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one more question, as far as branding. So like when they get the package, so an Amazon customer has ordered it, I'm guessing these are polybagged, or are they in a box?
Yeah. Yep. Just I mean, these in particular came in like a super plain white box. I probably would just use that. This has just been our experience. We have found that the packaging, at least for some of the items that we sell, isn't super important. So again, I would just encourage people, don't spend a ton of time and money like on designing of your packaging. Now, if you're selling like a $40 or $50 item, that's a little bit different. But if you're selling something for $15 to $20, like what we did was we actually just bought a roll of stickers with our logo on it, like, super clean, high res. We just pop it on there. It looks good. And we also have a little insert that we did through Vistaprint. Thank you for your purchase. If you have any issues, feel free to contact us. It makes a very professional looking package. And, you don't need to go crazy with designing, a box and having boxes printed. We don't do that with, I'd say 99. I think we have 2 products where we actually invested and like had them packaged and printed. But other than that, we keep it generic for just the type of stuff that we sell.
Cool. So do you, at a certain point, let's say that these took off and like they became a huge seller for you, would you consider looking for actual branded sunglasses, so the glasses themselves had a brand on? Let's say they were double the price though.
I wouldn't and this is just me, because I like my brand, but I'm not Ray-Ban. And so again, I'm kind of like, does it really add value in the consumer's eyes? And what's it going to do to my cost? And in turn, what's it going to do to the consumer's cost? And that's why I just try to find generic looking products. Like those, for example, they're just like little neon fun party sunglasses. Like, you wear them to the beach. Like, I don't think people are, probably for kids or, for summer camps. So for me at least, I wouldn't spend the money on that. That's just my opinion, and it's worked pretty well. And I think it depends on the niche that you're in, the type of product that you're selling. There's absolutely a time and a place where you want to put a super professional presentation in front of the customer. But what I'm kind of trying to encourage our group here is, let's keep it easy. Simple is good in my eyes. And so, if you think about, garlic press is sort of the age old example, but like does anybody know the type of garlic press that they have in their kitchen or the pizza cutter that they have? It's like, no. So I don't think the branding on stuff like that is incredibly necessary.
So what do you do when a seller hops on your listing? Or have you had that happen?
I get angry. We are brand registered. We're not 2.0 registered. So there was brand registry 1.0, which was like you just needed a website and a trademark application. 2.0, you need the trademark to be processed. Our trademark has not been registered yet. It takes about 6 months. And so my understanding is, though, once you have your trademark and your brand, that really locks down the listing. Until that happens, we do have occasionally people who jump on. We send a cease and desist letter, and I kind of look at it like I do some online arbitrage and retail art, and occasionally, I don't know if it happens to you, Sherry, but I'll get a letter from somebody. If I get that letter, I'm just like, okay, like, can I just sell through and then I'm gone? Like, it's not worth the aggravation to me. And typically people are like, they'll just sell what they have and they go away. And if you get any like the Chinese counterfeiters, like Amazon recognizes them and they pull them off right away. So, we're all in business together. I think, you send a harsh letter, but, you also don't want to come across like too aggressive. And, for the most part, people don't want to put their accountants in jeopardy over one product. And so they're happy to, move on. That's been my experience so far.
Cool. All really good information. I really appreciate all that. So let's see. We have a question from Larry, kind of going back to the start of all this. What generally is a good quantity to have on hand to launch a general product such as this?
Yeah, so for like a product like this, like I said, I would probably give away anywhere from 5 to 10 units. And maybe in the beginning I'd do like 10 product day 1, 10 day 2, 7 day 3, 7 day 4, 5 day 6, 6 and 7. So, maybe plan on giving away like 50 to 60 units. And then, obviously you don't want to give away units and then be out of stock. So, make sure that you have, sort of enough supply behind that to capture those beautiful sales that are going to come in. It's interesting that, so many people are very tentative to jump in and they do the giveaways, they get the thing ranked. And then all of a sudden, like, they just sell through their inventory and they go out of stock because they didn't want to buy too much. So I get it. Like, I understand, like, not wanting to be stuck with inventory, but you're better off, like, being, very generous in the amount that you buy up front. I'm not saying buy 1,000 units, but for something like this, if I was going to give away 50, I would probably want to send in 150. So I had 100 sort of on back there. And then, within the first few days, you're going to get a good, if you start selling 10 a day, it's like, okay, I got to replenish these right away. So yeah, that's probably what I would say for that. What was the other thing I was just going to say? Oh, and just getting back to your hijacker question, Sherry, the other thing, here's the other cool thing about the lifetime replacement. We're the only people that can offer that. And so if you think about some of the arbitrage items like, I forget, maybe it was like Nikon or something, like or like ThermoWorks, like one of the things that they say is, you can't meet our manufacturer's warranty, so you can't sell it as new. That's Amazon's terms of service. So that's another big advantage of putting that right in the listing, because we have had success going to Amazon and saying they're not an approved manufacturer. They can't honor the warranty. We don't care if they sell it, but they can't sell it new. And it's kind of game over at that point. So that's another advantage to doing that.
That's really smart. Because, man, those ThermoWorks thermometers, they sell so good and so fast. And you're like, come on.
So depressing. Yeah. And they're expensive too. It's like, some of them go for like $120.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like I could retire off these alone, but again, it's not worth it. Like, it's not, yeah. I'm not going to put my account in jeopardy for that, even as good as those are. So, established sellers recognize that and they're not going to play around with that.
Yeah. I've wondered why ThermoWorks doesn't sell on Amazon. I'm like, you guys could get 3 times your price that you sell for.
They're in Utah, aren't they?
I think so.
Go talk to them. Figure it out. Get that set up. And, hook up your group here, because they are leaving a lot of money on the table.
They really are. It's kind of funny.
And they must get furious too. Sorry for the tangent,
I
folks. But,
bet.
like they sell them for, I mean, I forget what they are. They may be 40 or $50 and they sell for like 150. And they must just like, yeah, look at that and be like, oh my God, but whatever the case may be.
That's a good idea. I'll call him.
Yeah, no, drive there. Be like, hey, let's set up a
I'll
partner.
send Matt's more schmoozy than me, so.
There you go. A piece of sales.
Yeah. Hey, does anybody else have any more questions before we end? I was thinking maybe if people are going to be doing some kind of negotiating on the products, if they're going to try from Alibaba or something like that. Just for people who maybe aren't as good at kind of negotiating, maybe if you phrases that you like and use, maybe you could pop them in a slide for me and I can put that in.
Yeah, totally. And the other thing is, when you go on Alibaba, like you send somebody a message, and one of the things I always do is I say, I only use Skype for Alibaba conversations. And I say, here's my Skype. Can we talk on Skype? And that's a lot better than email, because you send an email, you got to wait a day. Skype, it's just you're chatting with somebody. So, and then, there are a couple like, phrases that they recognize. So yeah, I'll put those. I'm happy to post those and share those. So you can work those into that conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay. So we do have one more question here from Leonard. When trying to plan on replenishing, what are some of the lead times?
So it all depends. If you're importing and you're, when you ship, you can either do by sea or you can do it by air. If you do it by air, it's pretty fast. If you do it by sea, 2 to 3 months. So that sort of is where, you really start kind of trying to figure out like your forecast. And again, like that's where I remember my first 2 private label products, like I was so excited because they did well, but I was terrified. I remember the point they came with a pallet of them and I was like partly so excited and partly so terrified because I was like, oh my God, like I've never bought this many of something. What if they don't sell? And of course they sold super fast and I was out of stock for like 2 months. So, it's a great question, Leonard. Like, I think, you really, it's like, if you have replenishables, it's like anything. You just got to figure out how many am I selling? How long is it going to take? What some people will do is they'll say, all right, obviously sea shipping is a lot cheaper than air shipping. So they'll say to their manufacturer, air ship me like 5 cases, or 10 cases, and then send the rest by sea. So they'll work with you. There are a couple of different things you can do. But it really depends on how fast you're selling them, how much you have on hand, and how long it's going to take to get them here. And again, that's another advantage by having a domestic supplier, because usually it's a lot faster. It looks like Larry had a question just above that. Do you have a product max price that you would be willing to try and bring to market? What's your target price point? Yeah, so for me, I mean, I'll go as low as $10. Not if I'm importing, like, I'll tell you, if you're importing from China, it's really hard to do anything for less than, I'd say, 20. Maybe you could do 15. If you're finding stuff domestically, you can go lower than 15. Max price, honestly, this is actually something I've been thinking about is, getting like really bold and trying out, an expensive product like $60, $70, $80. Because again, if it has a sales velocity and I can get it on page 1, I know it's going to sell. And I'm at the point where I know the process well enough where I would have confidence, making that investment. So I don't really have a max price point. Right now I'm just trying to, find the low hanging fruit, things that I'm very confident that will sell. And, I don't get caught up on the max price. It's more the min price to make sure that's worth my time, if that makes sense, Larry.
I like it.
Cool.
Totally makes sense to me.
Cool. So I guess we have one session, our last session next week. I'm gonna miss you guys. I'm gonna miss doing these. We'll have to have a check-in. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna post in the group as well. Like, I really want to hear what's holding you back. Like, what if? Like, is this exciting? If it is exciting, what is sort of the step that has you worried or concerned and is holding you back? because I want to help you with that. Whatever it is specifically, we'll see if we can come up with a plan together. So just super appreciative of everybody's time, and I'll send these slides to you, Sherry. Anything else from your end before we let everyone get back to their evening?
Nope, that was great. Thank you so much for your time and your knowledge, man. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, love it. Love talking with you guys. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.
Okay. See you guys.